Patience seems to be the word of the month, as the month is almost over, and I feel like the energy really didn't change all of that much. The exhaustion has continued, the just feeling like, especially ups and downs with energetic levels. This week we have the astrology jargon. Some of y'all like to hear that. We can talk more about the astrology jargon and speak the language in my membership, my $15 a month membership, where that is a part of what we do in the community on lives and in a forum that is intimate and private to the space, to the membership exclusive. Mars will be scoring Pluto this week, and we have that happens on Monday. Might feel it into Tuesday as well, as it is like moving away from that aspect, as Mars is moving away from Pluto, from squaring Pluto, rather. We also have Venus starting to square Saturn, so there might be a lot of reality checks with money, relationships, values, self-worth, things that maybe haven't been spoken up about could boil to the surface in maybe volcanic way to be faced, to be looked at, especially the emotional variety. What emotions have you been holding back from feeling or distracting yourself from looking at underneath the surface that are building and building? This week is going to kind of bring them to the forefront so that we really feel them, to heal them and not have them create somatic issues in the body. So, emotions are information, right? And that's really kind of the biggest theme of this week we have ahead. We will also have, like I spoke to last week, we will have the moon in Libra at the start of the week. It will be opposite everything that's in Aries. So there will be this energy of a lot of emotional themes coming up through our relationships. Doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It can be anyone that's close to you or any relationships in general in your life are probably going to bring up some emotional themes to look at and to deal with and to further do some clearing, some healing around. The transformation that we're all in is very deep. It is very extensive. I was just talking to a friend about this and I was like, I just feel like I want to do all these things, and this is very Saturn and Aries, right? We've been wanting to rush these new things in our new life and this new chapter to be built already and already be here. But Saturn, I made a video about this on my TikTok today. Saturn likes to take its time. Aries does not like to take its time. So when Saturn is in Aries, it's this kind of conundrum of we have to ride out the waves. We have to be patient and we have to honor our energetic levels and what we're drawn to at any given time when we're drawn to it. And things can happen really quickly. But if we're not motivated, if we're not inspired, if we're not in the mood to act on something or to do something or to create something right now, then it's probably not meant to happen right now. And it will happen and line up when it's meant to, right? And that's very much Saturn and Aries. We can't force everything, although we maybe want to happen right this instant. It has to be a little bit of a slow build. So that's the major energy. And I was going to say something else in regards to that. Oh, I was chatting with a friend about how I've been feeling like there's all these things I want to do, and I have a book I want to launch, and I have an app I want to create, and I have all these things that I want to do, and I want to create, and I want to build, but I'm just so exhausted and like dealing with a lot of physical exhaustion and tiredness and weird sleep patterns, not sleeping weird and weird dreams, and just like having these other kind of things pull me away from what I really want to be doing that I can feel building, but it's not here for me to act on. And there's this weird conundrum with it, right? Of like, I want to do this and I want to launch my book and I want to start building the app and I really want to have an app and like why isn't it all coming together yet? And it's like, well, you're going through a transformation, right? Like a caterpillar doesn't question why it turns to goo in the process of becoming a butterfly, but it literally does turn to goo and somehow is like chemically completely restructured into the point of the period where metamorphosis takes place and it emerges from the cocoon. And there's a bit of a struggle to that as well. that whole process of emerging from the cocoon. So, anyways, very apt analogy for what we're all in right now and what we're all experiencing. And we can't rush growth, we can't rush transformation, we can't rush the new life that we're building and building slowly. And there needs to be a slowness to it because this, what we're building right now, is very sustainable. It's going to be built on a long-lasting foundation, right? And that takes time. We could also use the analogy of like houses. If you build a house really quickly, it's probably going to start falling apart after a few years. Like it's not going to last. Versus if you really take the time to build out that house and build it well on a really solid foundation with really sturdy walls and a really sturdy whatever it takes to build houses in a really sturdy way, right? Probably it does take longer. It's going to last longer. So that's kind of the energy that we're all in right now. And I, I'm annoyed by it too. Like I'm right there with y'all. I'm not immune to the transits. Like this is how I can speak to them so well because I am literally experiencing them in my every single day. I right before this was literally laying on my couch about to take a nap. So we're all in this similar time period in this similar energy right now, and just trust what you're led to do when you're led to do it, and trust that it will all work out no matter what in divine timing, right? My slogan, it's fine, it's all divine, is one you are welcome to borrow and use in your life because it really is just so true that we can't rush anything we're building right now, and we have to honor our body's needs while we are building the new. Um, and let's see, is there anything else I want to say about these transits? Um, I believe we're going to have, yes, on Sunday, a full moon. And as I'm saying that, it's 444, a full moon in Sagittarius. So that's and oh my God, next week is June. Next week is June. I really feel like this summer is going to be a big one. It's going to be a busy one. I'll probably do a whole other video dedicated to that topic because there's just so much going on. This summer, so many shifts, so many more shifts are taking place that I think is going to ramp up the energy as things move into Leo and Mars, especially when it leaves Taurus and moves into Gemini. I mean, whew, get ready. I think we've all been needing to recharge our energy for a really big reason. I think a lot of positive change and momentum in all of our lives is building behind the scenes right now. And we're going to start to see it this summer. So, yeah, full moon in Sagittarius, bringing up major themes related to whatever you're setting intentions around in the area of life you have Sagittarius 6 months ago. So those will come up to a head to a manifestation, we could say, an illumination. There could be some further emotional things or belief systems or even philosophies of life, perspectives of life that come up for us to really release in a major way in order to have what we want in the area of life Sagittarius rules for you based on your chart, which I will cover in each individual horoscope when we get to the end of the week, because that full moon is a week from today when I'm filming this. So, May 31st, I believe. Yes. I have a full moon calendar. I have a moon calendar on my wall. That's what I'm looking at. Anyways, that is kind of an overview of what we have to look forward to in the current energy and this week ahead and as we get into the summer and rest of the year. So, without further ado, let's get into the horoscopes. Hi, Aries Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your relationships. There could be a lot of emotional clarity around people. Although Monday might feel a little spacey, a little foggy around that. There could be some illusion, or there could be some weird dream you had that you're like trying to piece together what it means. And then as we get into Tuesday, it feels like there's a lot of emotional tension between your relationships and this new version of you and new life that you're building, and kind of the discipline you're being asked to have with whatever you're building that's new, and trust the process around. There could be something that comes up with relationships or people in your life in general to really look at in a different way. The release of this energy could also bring up some things with home, with family, but the release of this energy is through your career. So there might be, or your work, there might be some things that you are inspired to do with career or work because of or due to the challenges in other areas, and with people in your life. Wednesday, there could be some big emotional triggers that come up again around relationships and people in your life, and really maybe bring up some further, deeper emotional wound as it relates to you, your sense of self, your identity, your appearance, for you to really fully clear out. But again, the release of this is through your career and through your public image. So it might be good to spend time around people or putting yourself in places that inspire you to do what you do for work or career, to maybe bring in some more ideas, or just feel creatively inspired to like transmute the frustration into something creative, or that kind of inspires you to build new structures or things with career in general. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your shared resources, money, debt, taxes, investments, as well as emotional vulnerability and intimacy, and kind of puts tension on what's happening with money that you've been building or taking action on. That's kind of been this slow build. There could be realizations around money of you wanting to do something differently, invest in something differently, launch something new or create something new in order for another stream of income, kind of thing. It feels like there's going to be, I mean, a big emotional focus on this part of your life, and on specifically doing something maybe creatively to change your situation as it relates to whatever comes up. As we head into Friday, the emotional focus on your shared resources is harmonizing with home and family. So there could be, this could also be your inner world. There could be some, if you spend time alone, on Friday, or I don't know, in some sort of like practice that helps you to get clarity, like yoga, meditation, whatever it is, breath work. There could be a lot of clarity that you receive related to like emotional healing, in your inner world, and kind of getting more clarity on what that looks like, and maybe some deeper things to clear out. Could also be a social weekend for you too, as we have on Saturday, the emotional focus shifting from your inner world and into your outer world, onto your belief systems, your philosophies of life, and kind of who you're spending time around that help you to shape those belief systems, in a more intentional way. There's kind of this season of change with communication and belief systems and mindset that you're in a big way, Aries. With everything in Gemini, and over the weekend there's a lot of emphasis on this area of your life, especially with the full moon we have on Sunday in Sagittarius. I mean, it really is a culmination of a new kind of philosophy of life or perspective of life, belief system, way of communicating, seeing the world. This could also be like a big move, or like an international move, or just a long distance move, or something that like really just feels better supportive for you in terms of where you go, who you talk to, who you have around you, and really realizing like what you need in terms of support for that, to be the best you can be moving forward and support this new life that you've been building and stepping into. Could also be, yeah, just friction and tension between home and your sense of self as well. Kind of peaks Friday, Saturday, and then as we end out the week, there's more clarity, and there's like, okay, how do I move forward with all of this that I'm realizing is happening for me? So that is your week ahead, Aries. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Taurus Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your day to day, your work, your health. There could be something about that you're getting emotional clarity around, or there could be this sense of like mental fog, There could be something with health or with either physical or mental that's kind of coming up for you that you're like, I don't have full clarity around what this is yet. And that's kind of Monday feels a little spacey in that regard. It kind of feels like, okay, I maybe know what this is, but how do I work with it? And it feels like as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, there's more clarity around that. There's more, it could come through a relationship or somebody in your life kind of mirroring something to you about what's going on and you getting more clarity. It feels like it could help for you to have a conversation with someone in your life to kind of talk through what's been coming up or what you're realizing emotionally maybe needs to be felt and cleared. Like I said at the beginning, big focus of this week is more emotional clearing of the relational nature and maybe how that's showing up in your work relationships, or your related to health, mental, physical, emotional, and maybe again, kind of what you need to support yourself in terms of like conversations, having people around you that you can talk to and kind of help you bring in a different perspective of what's going on and see it more clearly. Continues into Wednesday, although Wednesday there could be something triggering that comes up that again is kind of like it's been forming all week, and then Wednesday it's like brought up in a major way, and maybe there's some sort of wound that's triggered around whatever this is, and you get more emotional clarity on how to handle it and how to move forward, like with an understanding of what's going on. There could also be, beginning of the week, a lot of tension and challenges between your sense of self, you, your identity, and what's going on with career, what's going on with your public image or your reputation, maybe something new that you're doing or changing about that area of your life. I mean, there's just a lot of, kind of coming to a head at the start of the week, and it's like there's a lot more clarity than there has been leading up to this point. Thursday, that challenge, that tension kind of continues as the emotional focus shifts into your relationships. There could be something about someone in your life you get emotional clarity around, but it feels like it puts a lot of tension on you. Could be some anger you have to work through. Some really like uncomfortable emotions could come up through relationships or through your connections. Maybe even that really challenges career in a major way or challenges your image, your reputation. Again, what's changing there. The release of all this challenge is through your home, your family, and finding joy and like your inner world, really cultivating things that bring you joy as opposed to getting sucked in and swept up by the emotional challenges or turbulence on Thursday. Friday, the emotional focus in your relationships is harmonizing with what's going on in your kind of day to day, your communication, your mental mindset, your how you're sharing ideas and information. Again, I feel like there's like helpful conversations you're gonna want to have this week, or just gonna naturally have that could inspire you and give you more emotional clarity on how to move forward with all the things that you're getting clarity around. There is a lot more forward momentum, especially with like inspiration or creativity. And that really feels like a big theme Friday. Also on Friday, though, there could be something about your communication style or where you have to go, who you have to talk to, that kind of challenges what's going on with your mental health in a way as well. Um, Kind of like you want to isolate to deal with whatever's coming up, but you have to run an errand or something like that. As we head into Saturday, the emotional focus shifts into your shared resources, debt, taxes, investments, also emotional vulnerability, intimacy, and that's where we're going to have the full moon for you on Sunday. Taurus is in your area of shared resources and emotional vulnerability. There could be a lot of stuff coming up emotionally around worth, around money, around values, possessions. Again, like I said at the beginning, whatever you were kind of setting intentions around in your area of investments or shared resources 6 months ago is kind of coming to a head, is kind of begging for you to look at it in a deeper way in order to clear what needs to be cleared so you can bring in the new in this area of your life with money, with resources, with investments, with debt, how you pay it off, how you make money, where it's going. There's a lot of clarity that you could receive on what to change and innovate about these areas of your life with this full moon on Sunday. And that's how we end out your week, Taurus. So let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I will see you next week. Hi, Gemini Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your creative passions, dating, romance, children, if that applies. There could be something Monday that's kind of foggy emotionally with this area of your life, and maybe also that puts tension on what's going on creatively with your connections, your friend groups, your social media presence, your long-term goals and visions. There could be things that you're like, okay, I kind of want to do this, but I'm not super clear. Could help you to spend time with people that inspire you and maybe already are living the life you kind of want, are realizing you want for yourself and putting yourself in that energy, to get more clarity on what the next steps are for you to make it happen for yourself. There's a lot of emphasis on that the first half of the week, especially Tuesday. There could be something emotionally, though, that comes up with creativity or with children that puts tension on your ability to kind of be disciplined and committed to this new life and this new vision that you're building. But at the same time, that both of those areas of your life are challenging what's going on with money. So there could be this vision forming and changing massively around money, and maybe you had one money goal and now you're realizing you want to expand that and double it or something like that, right? So you can have more resources to work with that really support where you're headed, and everything that you're doing. And maybe, again, like I said, there's people around you that are helping you to see this and helping you to expand what you previously thought of as possible for yourself and your life. Wednesday, the emotional focus on your creative passions, pursuits, projects, dating, romance, children is directly adding tension to what wounds have been coming up with your long-term goals, visions, community, friendship, social media, identity level wounds the last 7 years. This is kind of a final emotional look at in a really big way at what is going on with that, what has been going on with that, so you can wrap up this cycle and wrap up this major lesson around that and heal any wounds that are still kind of there at a level that it affects you, right? At a level that, like they say, triggers are brought up so you see what still has to be kind of healed or loved on so you can, it doesn't trigger you in the same way moving forward. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your day to day, your routine, your health, your work, and it puts tension on what's going on with your spirituality or your mental health. Yeah, spiritual practices. And both of those areas of your life are directly challenging what's going on about or what's going on with mindset. I mean, this is a lot of mindset stuff for you on Thursday. It's a lot of like maybe doubting yourself, or maybe again these kind of deeper identity level beliefs or wounds being triggered of like imposter syndrome, or can I really do that, or is this really valuable, or blah 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 blah. And the release of all of this is really just communicating to yourself in an empowering way and a cheerleader kind of way. Like, how would you talk to your best friend if she was telling you or he was telling you there were these kinds of beliefs in their head? How would you guide them? How would you support them, right? And giving that energy to yourself, like being your own supportive parent and cheerleader is going to help on Thursday when this kind of emotional crisis comes up. Friday, there's tension, there's challenges between what's going on with money, possessions, values, and what you're building again long term as it relates to this vision that you're building, this new life, maybe with community, social media, etc. And it kind of feels like there's tension. Again, I feel like the challenges that come up in these two areas all week are gonna just help you to realize your vision is too constrictive. It's too like in how and where there needs to be expansion with it. And I think as we get into the weekend, that's really going to be the major thing that's coming up for you, Gemini, is like, oh, I really need to like 10x my vision. I really need to like expand the way that I see this, or the way that what I believe is possible for myself as it relates to what I'm doing and how I'm going about doing it, because it can be so much better than I thought. As we head into Saturday, the emotional focus shifts into your relationships. There could be something supportive emotionally with relationships that kind of puts tension on an identity level shift that you're in. I mean, this is also where we're going to have the full moon for you, Gemini, in your area of relationships. So there could be something really big culminating with people in your life with a certain relationship, or just feeling more supported by the people around you in general and what you're building and how you're building it. It kind of like is Excuse me. The energy of we end out this week with like, okay, here we go. This is why that delayed, or this is why that happened. It's kind of like this more hopeful way that we end out the week, especially for you, Gemini, and with your relationships and connections and what you're building and how it's growing. Um, so yeah, that's your week ahead, Gemini. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Cancer Rising. We start this week off with the emotional focus on your home and family. There could be something about that. That's putting tension on career. That's putting tension on your image, your reputation, and what you're building there. There could be this sense of like, oh, I need to do this, but I also have to take care of this. And there's just kind of a balancing act happening for you, the beginning of the week. Monday, though, it could feel a little spacey around what's going on with that, but that could also lead to insights, downloads that you didn't expect coming in around career, maybe related even to people you live with or family, home in some way. Tuesday, the emotional focus on your home is still putting attention on your career and what you're building and your career. But now both of those areas of life are challenging you, are challenging what's going on with you. This could be like kind of as simple as like having a bad hair day or something. And um it just feeling like things aren't going super smooth. Um, there's also harmony between your inner world. So it's like you really have to, I don't know, look at something differently. You really have to just see it differently, speak to yourself differently about it, in a way that's going to support your mental health as opposed to tear it apart. Um, it's almost like if you do have a bad hair day, like seeing it as a good thing. That's such a weird thing to say, but that's what I'm getting around it. It's like, and you might need to have someone you can lean on for that support as well, and just helping you see like, as simple as like, oh, does my hair really look as bad as I think? And they're like, no, it doesn't. It's like that energy. Also Monday and Tuesday, there's friction and challenges between shared resources as well as vulnerability, emotional vulnerability, and what's going on with community, friendships, long-term goals and vision. So there could be like this very challenging energy of, like I talked about at the beginning of this episode for this week, is like we know what we're building, we know what our vision is, for the most part. But it's not happening right now. Why is it happening right now? This is kind of that energy of like, I want it to happen right now, but it's like you have to just honor the process of the slow build. Um, Wednesday could bring up more energy related to like wounds, of identity level wounds that maybe come up through home or family or childhood. You realize, I don't know, maybe you got bullied for your appearance kind of thing. And there's maybe some deeper level wound that comes up around that to really like for the final time, clear it out, purge it, so you can move forward without it. And really embodied in this new version of yourself that has been building. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your creative projects, passions, dating, romance, children, if that applies, and directly puts tension on what's going on that you're building with your long-term goals, visions, friendships, community, social media. Both of those areas challenging what's going on and changing about shared resources. So this is kind of a revisitation of what maybe came up Monday or Tuesday, in an emotional way. You could the release of this energy is kind of like what's creatively inspiring you right now, or what's a passion you have right now, and how can you maybe turn that into a side hustle? Like, I I built a garden in 24 hours because I saw this man who builds raised garden beds on, like, he builds them custom made when you order them from him on Facebook Marketplace. It's just a hobby he has, and he makes like pretty good money just doing that as a hobby, right? So it's kind of that energy of like, what is just something that's so easy and natural for you that maybe is a release, a creative release of the tension in these other areas you're feeling, and that can maybe bring in some extra income for you. As we head into Friday, the emotional focus on your creative passions, projects, and pursuits is harmonizing with what's going on in your sense of self, your identity, and feeling expanded there. But at the same time, there is something about your identity and your values, maybe related to your appearance, that is directly challenging what you're building with career, what you're building with your image, your reputation, and this new beginning, this new chapter. So it does kind of feel like there's creative inspiration, but at the same time, there's kind of this maybe identity level crisis that comes up as well. And again, it's all about what you believe. It's all about what you tell yourself in your head, that shapes your reality, right? It's all about your perception. And there's also a big focus on that at this time for you, Cancer, about like gassing yourself up and being your own best cheerleader and support, giving that to yourself the way that you give it to others, right? Saturday and over the weekend, the emotional focus is on your day-to-day routines, your mental and physical health, and balancing these two areas of your life related to your belief systems, related to like your communication, how you talk to yourself inside of your head, and also with other people on a daily basis, right? So there's a lot of energy as we end out the week around that, and really solidifying in these new routines or just practices that help you to take care of your mental health, by talking to yourself differently and being more supportive, being your own best cheerleader. And that's where we're going to have the full moon for you on Sunday, Cancer, is in your area of routines, of physical and mental health, of work as well. So there could be something about that tied into really just like believing in yourself and what you're doing, instead of giving weight to the fears or the imposter syndromes or the doubts or the whatever, the bullshit in your head. It's like talk to yourself positively more than you listen to the negativity in your head, right? Is the major energy as we end out your week. So that's your week ahead, Cancer. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Hi, Leo Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your day to day, your routines, your errands, where you're going, who you're talking to. Also on communication and how you're sharing ideas and information. There could be a kind of fogginess around that Monday. Like, uh, I don't know how to explain it. It's hard to, maybe you had a weird dream and it kind of sticks with you all day, kind of thing. And I don't know. It's a weird foggy day when it comes to emotions, but at the same time on Monday and Tuesday, there is this energy, kind of release of challenges and conflicts between your career and what you're building there, and what's going on, or what about that is challenging relationships in a major way as well. And Tuesday, especially, whatever emotionally you're focused on with your day to day and your communication or people, is putting tension on what you're building with your perspective of reality, your new belief systems, your new mindset, perception of life. There could be some trip you realize you want to go on to or need to take in order to just kind of clear your head. And both of those areas of your life are directly challenging what's going on with your mental health. So again, there could be this energy of like, okay, I really need to do this in order to clear my head or really take care of me, and not get bogged down by this tension or this chaos or whatever it is. Another way that this energy could be released and dealt with in a positive way is through your routines. Maybe having a really firm boundary practice of like not getting on your phone the first hour you're awake, or the hour before you go to bed, or not reading if you create content or you have a public career image, like not reading comments or not getting lost in the sauce of like the negativity, right? Is a way to really work positively with this energy and establishing something in your routine that supports you in being able to do that. Wednesday, more around that could come up, in a kind of triggering way, and it just revealing to you these deeper set identity level wounds that are maybe still there, emotionally around relationships and what you're doing. That again, it's all about your belief system and how that's tied into your identity, and what needs to really shift for like a final look at this, a final purge of whatever you've been healing in this area of your life for the last 7 years. It's a final like trigger of the wound, of a deep wound, in order for you to see it, to really shift it for good. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your home and family. You might be, this is maybe when you take a little trip or something. Could also just be spending more time alone in your home to process. But whatever, you're emotionally focused on in your home or your inner world, while it's harmonizing with what's going on in your mental health and in your spiritual practices, it's also challenging what's going on with career and what's going on with the relationships. So there could just be some tension, some challenges, conflicts between home, family, relationships, and career. The release of this energy, though, is through you. What do you need to do, or what can you do for yourself that's fun and joyful and playful and kind of takes you out of the conflicts and puts you into an energy that is more positive, right? Again, not getting sucked into the negativity, but doing something that pulls you out of it. So you can just see it with a clear head. It's not about bypassing it. It's just about seeing it more clearly, removed from the emotion, the heavy, intense emotion of it. Friday, the emotional focus on your home and family is still supporting what's going on with your inner world, what's going on with your spiritual practices and mental health. So there could, if you're able to spend time alone, like with yourself and in a spiritual practice or something that is could be a walk or nature time or whatever just helps you to process emotions, there could be some really beautiful things that come from that. But at the same time, on Friday, whatever you're focused on with mental health, and with your spiritual practices is directly challenging some, again, like perspective, some belief system. Like there's a lot of belief system level work that's coming up for you all week, and just you're getting more clarity on these deeper kind of layers, peeling back the onion, so to speak, of your inner world to see really just what clearly needs an overhaul. So you can really just not have anything from your past influence your new life. Saturday and over the weekend, the emotional focus is on your creative passions and pursuits. So again, a lot of energy and momentum on what are you doing for fun, for joy? What's a passion? What's an obsession? What's something that you love to do just for the sake of doing it? And it could lead somewhere amazing, to a new career, to a new money making source, right? But you have to do it for the sake of the joy that comes from you doing it, that you really, really love it. And that's where we're going to have the full moon for you, Leo, is in your area of creative joy and passions, related to what is a long-term goal for you, a long-term vision, social media, community kind of themes as well. There could be an emotional release tied to that, that again helps you to kind of create space for the new. In this area of your life, and could, again, like I've said, be a deeper level belief system shift that occurs and comes up. You get clarity around over the weekend too, in order to really shift in a major way to move forward in a more joyous manner. So that's your week ahead, Leo. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Hi, Virgo Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your money, resources, values. There could be something about that that you're emotionally focused on that kind of feels spacey or foggy. There could be something maybe you're waiting to get clarity or answers around Monday that doesn't feel super clear with money or with resources in general. As we head into Tuesday, you might get more clarity about money or finances, shared resources, and what you're doing. Maybe you're waiting to hear back about a loan or something like that, or taxes or debt or something. And it kind of feels like that you get the like I don't know, you get some intuitive hit maybe on Monday, and then like by the middle of the week or the end of the week, there is like answers around it kind of thing. But at the same time, there's a lot of challenges between what you're building in your routines and what you're moving forward with in work and career. Like there's a lot of positive momentum in those areas of your life, but at the same time, what's going on with your day-to-day routine as it relates to work and physical health is directly being challenged by your perspective. Some belief systems about worth or about value or about money are coming up in a deeper way to be transformed, right? It's kind of like this this pressure has been building for a week or so, and it's kind of like it comes to a head middle of the week, and it's like, okay, here's what I do about this, here's how I move forward. Especially Wednesday. I mean, there's emotional tension on Wednesday between your money and wounds around shared resources, or wounds around feeling worthy of sharing resources, or feeling worthy of being provided for, taken care of in certain ways. And it's an identity level wound. It's deep stuff. And it's being brought up in a deeper emotional way so that you're able to really fully clear it out and move on from it for good. Um, Tuesday and Wednesday as well, there might be tension and challenges between money and community or friendships, friend groups, social media. The release of all of this is through creative pursuits and projects, and maybe that is a part of what you're doing, that there's momentum building around with work and with career. So that's kind of the release of the, if you find yourself getting really caught up in the tension or the challenges, like the release is what do you feel creatively inspired to do with this? Kind of, alchemizing it and putting it into something that is a joy or a passion for you. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your day to day, your routines, errands, where you're going, who you're talking to, communication as well. Puts tension on what is changing about your belief system. So, this is kind of like a tug of war between your internal communication and your external communication. And both of those areas are putting some adding some conflict to what's going on with work or what's going on with your routine, your physical health. Again, the release of this energy is really on what spiritual practices or what things ground you into joy, what things ground you into your passions, as opposed to letting the negativity or the challenges really get you and bog you and take you under. It's like, how can you just put your focus and energy on things that help you, that are fun, that help you to clear your head and get more insight on the challenges and how to navigate them from a kind of detached place, as opposed to in the emotional intensity of it. There could also be a lot of social interaction you're having towards the end of the week that helps inspire you and helps you to get more clarity around these changes and how to, just go about them in a harmonious way. As we head into Friday, the emotional focus on your day to day is harmonizing with your community, your friend groups. This might be a really social day for you. There's kind of a lot going on in with people and with outings. But at the same time, whatever is going on with community or long-term goals, visions, friendships, social media is directly challenging your ability to build something or related to what you have been building in your area of shared resources, debt, taxes, investments, being more responsible with money, responsible with resources. There's something about that is being challenged by or is challenging what's going on with your long-term goals and visions. This could be as little as like, or as much as realizing you have bigger goals. And you need to expand your vision of what you have believed is possible for yourself in your life when it comes to resources. Then we head into Saturday, and the emotional focus shifts into your home, family. There could be some kind of emotional release with your sense of self. This maybe is an identity level shift in a major way, related to home or family or childhood dynamics, through what's going on with career, what's going on with relationships that feel supportive. But at the same time, your emotional focus or pull to home or family could put tension on what's going on with career. And that those two areas, home and career, is where we're going to have the full moon for you, Virgo, on Sunday. So there just could be some tension between your emotional focus on home and family and what's going on that's changing and being illuminated with career, your reputation. But at the same time, this could be a lot of clarity on or manifestation of something that you've been building with career and with home and family over the last 6 months. And so there's kind of this big culmination energy and illumination of some intentions that were set with home or with family or within your inner world and your stability around 6 months ago, and what you're calling in there, what you have been manifesting in a major way. So that is your week ahead, Virgo. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Libra Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on you. There could be a big feeling at the start of the week of emotional renewal, but at the same time, there's things about that that could feel foggy with relationships or kind of put some sort of tension on, I don't know, feeling inspired with people or around people. There could be this kind of tug of war between you and clarity in relationships, whatever's going on with that. Could be a weird dream related to a relationship or someone in your life. But it feels like as we get into Tuesday, there's more emotional clarity around that. There is at the same time emotional tension between you and what you're building in relationships. That is new, that is different, that takes some commitment, takes some discipline. And there could be a sense of like, again, like I talked about at the beginning of the video, impatience and wanting it to be like built now. But there could be this emotional frustration with that in a lot of ways. And, at the end of the day, the focus is on you emotionally. So what can you do emotionally to nurture or ground yourself and not get swept up in the frustration of whatever this is? And at the same time, they're both of those areas of your life are putting tension, directly conflicting, challenging with what's going on in career, what's going on that you're building in your image, your reputation. So there could be this sense of like tug of war, and the reprieve of this energy is through your family, your routines, what grounds you, practices that you have to just feel supported. Also, Monday and Tuesday, there's a lot of conflict. Maybe as an intense conflict between dating, romance, creative passions, and what's going on with shared resources. There could be some major clarity you receive about those two areas and what you want to change in a big way. And it could feel really intense. It could feel like something you didn't expect you're wanting to change. But there is a sort of patience that there needs to be around that as well, because it feels like it's not something that can change overnight, even though you get the idea to change it and in a kind of impatient manner. A lot about your perspective of life shifting as well at the same time in your belief systems at the start of the week. Wednesday, the emotional focus on you is directly challenging wounds and triggers within relationships. So, again, there could be something that comes up with relationships that feels frustrating emotionally for you, that really challenges what you're able to do or what you're able to build with relationships and people in your life. And both of those areas are still challenging what's going on with career. And again, the reprieve is home and family. What can you build, or what routines or structures or practices can you just put in place to take care of yourself and your inner world despite what's going on externally, right? Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your money, your possessions, your resources, and puts tension on what's going on with shared resources, what's going on with debt or investments or taxes. Could also be vulnerability or just your inner world in general. There's a lot of momentum in this part of your chart, in this area of your life, and emotionally on Wednesday or on Thursday, emotionally on Thursday, there's something that comes up around money or values or possessions. Downsizing, needing to, I don't know, reevaluate what you have. Because both of those areas are challenging what's changing about your creative pursuits, what's changing about dating, what's changing about children, maybe even if that applies. The reprieve of this energy is on, again, what nourishes you, what feels joyful for you, maybe spending time with friends, and doing something that's fun, not getting bogged down by things that are feeling frustrated and there can't be action around right now, or there's not clarity around, or they just feel challenging, right? And you gotta let the water settle a little bit. So putting energy into you and into what's going to bring you joy and what's going to be fun for you is going to help kind of not get bogged down by the intensity, especially emotionally, of these different areas. And I feel like Thursday and Friday, there's a lot of creative inspiration you're going to be feeling as well towards career, towards money, maybe coming up with money making ideas or expansion with that in some way, and expanding your vision with career or with work or with money in general, as well as there are these kind of moments of tension and these moments of challenge in these other parts of your life at the same time. It does feel like they're fueling the creative inspiration as much as, it's not fun to have challenges. It's not fun to um, be uncomfortable with relationships and career. It is helping you to evolve in ways that are needed with both of those areas and other areas. Saturday, the emotional focus shifts into your day to day, your communication, your belief systems, your mindset, also where you're going and who you're talking to on a daily basis. So there could be some emotional shift there. Maybe one that puts tension on your philosophies of life, or you're getting more clarity. This could be some big long trip. This could be getting more emotional clarity around a short distance trip, a long distance trip, an international move, a short distance move, something that you're doing. You're getting clarity around emotionally on what needs to change within your routines and your day to day, and where you are, who you're going, where you're going, who you're talking to, as well as your inner mindset is getting more. There's this inner perspective shift that's really building in a major way, and that by the time we have the full moon on Sunday, there's a culmination around, and there's an energy of clarity in terms of realizing what you need to release a belief system or a mindset or a way of a philosophy of life that doesn't serve you. So you can step into what you're building um, that does serve you short term and long term. So that is your week ahead, Libra. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Hi, Scorpio Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your inner world, your mental health, your belief systems, your spiritual practices, and it's directly putting tension on what's going on that you're getting clarity around in work and day-to-day routine and your physical health and needing to have boundaries in order to take better care of yourself, physically and mentally. And there could be something on Tuesday that comes up around that you're like, okay, this needs to be taken action on. There could be something about that change you're making that's affecting home and family, that's challenging relationships. It just kind of feels like there's a lot of opportunity for challenges in the people around you related to this shift that you're realizing you need to make, and you're really being clear around setting boundaries with. Um, but at the same time, there is a lot of harmony in your inner world around it. This could be like, okay, it may upset the people around you temporarily, but you feel so much peace from it, kind of thing. Wednesday, the emotional focus on your mental health and your inner world is kind of bringing up deeper wounds, triggers within your work, your physical health, your day-to-day routines, and an identity level. And again, there could be because you're realizing you need to make these shifts and being really stern about it. There could be these things coming up within you at an identity level of like kind of identity crisis in a way, of like, who am I without this? Or I know that this is what's best for me, but what do I do now? Or like it's mental stuff. And it's just kind of a little mental, like, again, existential thing. I feel like the reprieve of it is really in what fuels you. What is a passion that you have that you love, that brings you so much joy? You could do it forever, whether you make money from it or not, right? That's kind of the energy, is like not getting bogged down in the mental level crisis, but instead shifting gears and putting that into something that is going to productively help you to alchemize it and bring you joy in the process. Thursday, I really just summed up Thursday with that as well. I mean, that continues into Thursday. There's a sense though, early Thursday, of an emotional renewal related to really what you're doing to focus on yourself emotionally. But it could again put tension on relationships and could also challenge at the same time what's going on with home or family. But at the risk of sounding like a broken record, the focus and reprieve of this is on what brings you joy, and maybe doing something related to that in a public way, or building some new career around it, or putting your energy into like public joy. That sounds weird to say out loud, but that's really the energy. Like what brings you joy? And how can you build something publicly around that? Maybe a new career pursuit or side hustle or hobby or something that you are seen for. Friday, the emotional focus on you is harmonizing with your expansion in terms of mindset, perspective, philosophy of life. But at the same time, there are these challenges. You're being challenged to see things differently. You're being challenged to take a different approach mentally and to have a different perspective of what's coming up, especially with work and physical health, and just kind of see it differently, right? And, if you've been feeling really tired, as an example, like I talked about in the beginning of this video, if you've been feeling really tired, like instead of being hard on yourself and like, why am I feeling this way? And why can't, is something wrong with me? Being like, no, I just need this rest right now. This is going to support where I'm headed. This is supporting my physical body. This, mindset shift is the major theme that we kind of end the week with for you. And then as we head into Saturday, the emotional focus shifts onto money, belief systems tied into money, communication tied into money, possessions maybe too. Maybe you might be selling stuff, downsizing. Um, that's where we're gonna have the full moon for you on Sunday. Scorpio is in your area of money and possession, so there could be things you're literally physically purging. Could be at an inner level as well, an energetic level of like feeling really relieved with these changes you're making because they're creating space for the new to emerge and for more joy and creative inspiration to fuel your this next chapter you're stepping into. So that is your week ahead, Scorpio. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Hi, Sagittarius Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your community, long-term goals, visions, social media. And it's putting tension on what's going on with, or what you're getting clarity around or inspiration around with your creative passions, projects, pursuits. Dating and romance as well could apply. Maybe you're getting more clarity on what that looks like for you long term. And what to do about it. But there could also be some spaciness or fogginess at the same time with what's going on there. And then as we head into Tuesday, there feels like some real big emotional tension between relationships, long-term goals, visions, community, and what you're wanting to build with dating, romance, creative passions, and projects. I mean, there could be some big emotional clarity that you receive about these two areas of your life, but at the same time, it feels like there's tension in other ways. And the release of this is on what nourishes you, what supports you, what feels solid for you. Especially as it relates to like resources and money. Like maybe doing something that, you wouldn't normally do or spend money on something you wouldn't normally spend it on to like really nourish yourself or build some sort of new routine or stability. That's going to support you in your vision and what you're getting clarity around as far as that goes long term. Also, Monday and Tuesday, there's tension and challenges between your communication styles, your day to day, who you talk to, where you go, as well as what's going on with your physical health or what's going on with work, and your routines. So there could be some serious challenges. Like maybe you're traveling and your physical body is just not having it and you feel really tired and you feel like travel's never been this hard kind of thing. Um, that's kind of the energy. But again, it's like what's going to support you in that you wouldn't normally do. Maybe like if you're taking a plane, like I don't know, investing in an airport massage, even though you're like this costs way too much than it should. It is gonna support you. That's the energy. I don't know. As we head into Wednesday, the major energy is really on emotionally healing some wound with dating or creativity or children, maybe even like from your childhood, the inner child level healing, identity healing. There's some type of emotional wound that's going to be brought up, maybe through your external community. your external friend group, or related to kind of like, okay, what am I doing long term and how do I go about doing it? There could also, through that, be something you get clarity around as it relates to structural structures with money or structures with possessions or resources. It feels like there's a lot of emphasis on like, I don't know, structurally taking care of your things. um, to balance out all the challenges in these other areas. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your inner world, your mental health, and directly puts tension on what's going on with your physical health. So there could be something you get a lot of clarity around of like, oh, this pain in my left leg comes from me doing this or me needing to feel this, and it's kind of like you get clarity on the mental aspect of your physical things or the mental aspect of what's going on with work. That both areas are challenging. Again, belief systems, like what's going on in your mental space that's kind of recreating these patterns within these areas of your life. And there's a lot of focus on getting that clarity to change it, to transform it, right? At an identity level. Shifting of big emotional wounds. And like I said at the beginning of the video and the general overview of this week, it's like we're clearing out these deeper emotional patterns that have been with us for far too long, and it's time to let them go in a big way. So that's the energy on Thursday. There could be something really massive coming up for you in regards to that. And it feels like it supports a big energetic shift, a big change with at an inner level in a major way. Maybe you feel like more clear, you feel more free, you feel renewed. Maybe you have to like cry for an hour and then there's like this sense of like, oh my God, I feel like a changed person, right? That's really the energy. And that kind of continues into Friday. There's a lot of harmony between emotionally focusing on your inner world and what's going on with shared resources, as well as what's going on with vulnerability and intimacy. And at the same time, what's going on with like shared resources. This is debt, taxes, investments, um, your inner world, your inner psychology is challenging what you're building that's new with these goals and dating or with creative passions or pursuits or the inner work you've been doing on yourself and for your inner child kind of thing. It's all it's all coming together. And I feel like there's this big sense of renewal building for you all week emotionally, Sagittarius. And as we get into the weekend on Saturday, there is that sort of reprieve. We have the full moon on Sunday. There is this sense of a new version of yourself forming related to not only your relationships and what's changing about those and how you communicate with people, but also how you communicate with yourself and to yourself about people. So there's this big sense of reprieve, of clarity, emotionally renewal within your sense of self, within your identity, that really builds and solidifies out by the week's end. Especially like I said on early on Sunday with that full moon we have in your area of you. So there's been a new you forming over the last 6 months, and there is a sort of culmination around that that takes place with this full moon. So that is your week ahead, Sagittarius. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Capricorn Rising. We start the week off with the emotional focus on your career, on your image, your reputation. It's putting tension on what's going on with home or family that maybe hasn't felt so clear. And both of those things are kind of putting tension on what's going on with relationships. And the reprieve of these challenges, of this tension is on you. So, what can you do to really support yourself and have solid routines and structures in place to support yourself through the maybe chaos or the intensity of what's going on in other parts of your life? Also, Monday and Tuesday, there's a sort of conflict or challenge happening with dating, career. Um, Romance, passions, creativity that is directly challenging what's changing about your money or your worth, your value, your realization about your value or what you're providing or sharing with the world as what you value. That makes you money, right? There's this kind of tension or conflict building between that area of your life and what's going on with creative passions and pursuits. At the same time, though, it is forcing you to evolve the way that you view your creative motivation or inspiration in order to make money or change what is happening with or around money in major ways. There's a lot of positive momentum at the start of the week with work and money, although there are these challenges coming from other areas. Tuesday, the emotional focus on your career is adding tension to what's going on with home or family, maybe what you've had to have boundaries with or around as it relates to home and family. And there's kind of this sense of maybe distracting yourself emotionally with career or with work. And but it's also putting tension on what's expanding with relationships. So there's kind of this again, this sense of what supports you, what is going to be best for you, and really kind of thinking at it or coming at it from thinking about it and coming at it from that lens of what is best for you moving forward with this instead of what is best for everyone else. Because there's something really big on Tuesday and Wednesday more so that could be triggered um related to that and maybe how you've kind of put others before yourself, maybe especially related as it relates to home or family relationships in general. And so there's this need to kind of reel it back in to you and supporting you from a very internal turtle place and space. Um, that leads us into Thursday. The emotional focus shifts onto your long-term goals, visions, community, social media, and it puts tension on what's going on with creative passions and pursuits, maybe dating as well. And both of those areas are challenging what's changing about money. Again, the reprieve is through what brings you joy, maybe at a very internal level, a very like inner child level, like what really feels fun for you, what really feels like a hobby or something that you can have or do or invest in that brings you joy and that feels fun and playful for you, as opposed to getting bogged down by these challenges that are happening in these other parts of your life. And with it also feels like there's going to be support from people with your relationships, with your community, with the people around you at this time as well, to maybe support you in remembering your joy and not getting lost in the sauce of the challenges that are taking place in these other parts of your life. That continues into Friday. Maybe you're spending more time with people or socializing on Friday, doing something you maybe wouldn't normally do with people. But at the same time, what's going on with relationships and kind of more so like what you're realizing you value within relationships is putting challenge on home and family. So there could be this sense of like, oh, I have this pattern of doing this within relationships because of that, or because of this person in my family, or because of this that was I didn't choose, but it was like it was just how what people did, and I took it on without realizing, right? And there's a sense of like emotional clarity in terms of what you are consciously choosing to value within your relationships and put up with versus what you just will not anymore. Does that make sense? That leads us into the weekend, Saturday. The emotional focus shifts into your mental health, your inner world. That's where we're going to have the full moon for you on Sunday, is in your mental health and in your inner world. So there's a big sense of clarity building within um, what you need to take care of, your physical health balanced with your mental health, right? And balancing these two areas of your life. There could be this big culmination of energy building within how you take care of your mental health and what you do for you that feels fun, adventurous, expansive. Again, it's all about what do you need to nourish this inner world of yours, to nourish your inner child, as a routine or a spiritual practice, or again, something that brings a sense of fun or adventure to you in your life, and doesn't take you away from everything else, but is a solid foundation on which to build to expand in these other areas. Does that make sense? So that is your week ahead, Capricorn. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Aquarius Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your perspective. your philosophy of life. And it's putting tension on what's going on with your day to day, what's going on with your communication, how you're sharing ideas and information, maybe even where you're going, who you're talking to. There could be some weird thing that happens with dreams that you wake up on Monday with like a that was a weird dream, but it kind of sticks with you, but it also is like you realize it, I don't know, changes something or breaks something about your perception or how you're viewing reality, or brings into question a belief system or a mindset. And then it feels like Tuesday, there's a lot of emphasis on putting this new belief into practice, being disciplined with like brainwashing yourself into it because it is like a belief or a mindset that really supports you, and it's going to take some discipline to like build a habit of just viewing life that way. Um, and whatever about that is forming for you is also directly challenging what's going on with work or physical health or routine. The release of this tension and these challenges is through your mental health. So again, having some sort of structure or system or routine in place that supports your mental health, whether it's a spiritual practice or just like sitting outside with your tea in the morning, listening to the birds, or like talking to nature or walking in nature. I meant to say walking, not talking, but whatever floats your boat, whatever really helps you to take care of your mental health, there's a big emphasis on needing to put structure and routine to that to better support you moving forward. Also, on Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, there's tension between home and family and what's changing about you and your identity. Um, there could just be challenges between like maybe you wanted to move somewhere or have been wanting to or taking steps toward it, and it's like it's slow going. Um, and like I talked about at the beginning of the video, there's a lot of impatience right now. And we really just have to trust the process and in what we're building and the slow steps that are getting us there. As we head into Wednesday, the emotional focus on your perspective, your belief systems is challenging something about a wound, a mindset wound. Again, maybe that really needs to be shifted in a major way. And there's this kind of residual, oh, aha moment of like, that's what that was. Um, at an identity level, there's things that come up to really shift and maybe are triggered to be shifted in some big ways. Again, the reprieve of this is on your mental health. So having structures and routines within your spiritual practice or your mental health practice that help support you in these when challenges or when things come up that don't feel so comfy. As we get into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your career, your reputation, your image, and it puts tension on what is, again, what's moving forward with home or family. And both of those areas are challenging you, challenging transformation within the self and of the identity. So there might be how do I say? Maybe you need to spend some time around some fun people that help you kind of like make sense of what's going on or help give you an outlet to what's frustrating. There is maybe this need to like socialize and put yourself around people who support you, who are going to be encouraging, who are going to feel good and like support, excuse me, where you're heading as opposed to where you have been. Friday, the emotional focus on your career and your work is harmonizing with your day-to-day routines, physical health, what you're building with work and career. So there's a lot of positive focus on that area. There could be with work and career, there's a lot of positive focus. There could be some creative inspiration flowing with that as well towards the end of the weekend, maybe related to like the people you're spending more time around that really encourage and support where you're headed and giving you ideas and feeling more creatively inspired or motivated to do things a different way. Maybe picking back up a passion that you had kind of lost motivation around. Also on Friday, well, really Thursday and into Friday, there's more challenges between physical health and your kind of routine. This could be, related to what's going on with home and family. Maybe you're like shifting things around with that, and it's kind of like, okay, well, how do I, what fits into my routine moving forward? What do I want to do on a daily basis? Where do I go? Who do I talk to that supports me? That supports with these changes that I've made recently. It's a lot of like navigating change is a big theme for you this week, Aquarius. It's like kind of there was a maybe a big upheaval And this week it's like, okay, now what do I do? Where do I go? How do I pick up the pieces? How do I establish groundedness in the midst of this change or all that's new for you? As we head into Saturday, the emotional focus shifts into your long term goals, visions, community, friendship, social media. So there's a lot of emotional emphasis on, again, who you're spending time around, where you're going to socialize or be around people. And there's a lot of opportunity for creativity to flow from that, of like really just putting the effort in to socialize or go to events or meet people or get out there. You could really meet some really amazing creative people that inspire you, that motivate you to do what you've been feeling like you want to do or just kind of were on the back burner with. It feels like there's a renewal of your creative abilities, projects, passions related to like who you're spending time around. And it feels like over the weekend that really culminates in a big way. So that's where we're going to have the full moon for you on Sunday, Aquarius. So, yeah, lots of positive things solidifying in by the end of the week. So that is your week ahead. Let me know how it resonates with you in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Pisces Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your shared resources, putting attention on what's going on or changing about money, worth, possessions, values, maybe food or relationship with food as well. There could be some things that just don't feel clear about money or resources in general on Monday. Or maybe you're getting like creative downloads or inspiration about some things, but it's like none of it feels like pressing to act on. It's like, okay, maybe I could do this or maybe I could do that. It's like you're kind of dreaming in a bigger way, more expansive way, maybe because of who you're spending time around. Um, and then it feels like Tuesday, those ideas kind of ground, although there could be some emotional tension around that grounding. And at the same time, there's challenges between what's going on with that and what's going on with your creative pursuits or dating, or passions or children. So the reprieve of that is through, maybe having a supportive network or supportive community that you can kind of lean on when things feel challenging or when things feel unclear. The reprieve is kind of through your network or through your community or through the people around you that maybe you need to kind of call on or lean on for support at this time. Also Monday and Tuesday, there's challenges between what's going on with your day to day and what's changing about your mental health and in your inner world. It feels like there's just a lot forming underneath the surface that there's not full clarity around yet, or like motivation, or it really is like everything I talked about at the beginning of the video. Like the summary for the week ahead is really like things are still kind of building and forming behind the scenes, and we just have to trust in the timing. Really big energy for you, especially this week, Pisces. Wednesday, the emotional focus on your shared resources, debt, taxes, investments, maybe how you're sharing money with people kind of puts tension on what's going on with your own money. There could be some wounds or triggers brought up around money or self-worth, values at an identity level, and you might get some clarity through somebody, maybe about what further like money beliefs or mindset needs a big shift at an identity level. And at the same time, the first half of this week, there's a lot of harmony in your inner world. Maybe sharing ideas again, having good conversations with people, sharing ideas, getting information, getting clarity through the conversations you have or the people you're spending time around or leaning on for support. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your perspective, your belief systems, your philosophies of life, puts tension on what's going on with your kind of day to day. In both of those areas, your internal communication and your external communication, your internal beliefs that create your external reality. Both of those areas of your life are challenging your mental health, challenging what's going on in your inner world and what's changing massively there. The reprieve of this is on your routines that bring you joy. Is this spending time around people who inspire you? Is it going to a dance class or putting on good music and going for a drive? There's this need to focus on the positive, to kind of brainwash yourself with positivity or like not bypassing emotions that come up, but just like choose, feeling the feelings and then choosing to see it differently and choosing to support yourself through it in a positive way, as opposed to letting the emotions mean something or mean that you're failing or blah, 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 the negative kind of mental talk that can come in. With that. Friday, the emotional focus on your perspective is harmonizing with what's going on with creativity. So there could be some creative inspiration that flows. Almost like you felt the feelings that needed to be felt that were intense. And then it kind of clears the way for ideas or downloads or inspiration to come in creatively about what you're doing or what you're taking action on. And at the same time, it could challenge again something about money. Maybe you need to just kind of reel in your spending or just have better boundaries with what you're spending on or how you're spending. Um, and maybe that also helps you to see or evolve your goals with money into bigger goals, um, to kind of support where you're headed as opposed to just like being stagnant. As we head into the weekend, the emotional focus shifts into your career. It's where we're going to have the full moon for you on Sunday. Pisces is in your area of career. So there could be a big culmination of something with career that has been building over the last 6 months. Maybe getting clarity on what you want to do moving forward. Could bring in some sort of change with home as well. The full moon really brings in two areas of your life. Although it is in your area of career, we also have the sun in your area of home. So there's that sense of like, how do I balance home and career? How do I balance my internal and external worlds? And there's some big culmination of that we see take place for you over the weekend with this full moon on Sunday. So let me know how that resonates for you in the comments. Let me know what comes up for you, Pisces, in the comments, how your week goes, and I will see you next week. All right, next week, we're in June now. Absolutely insane. We have on Monday, let me change the time here because I'm at like 2 a.m. and I don't want to give a general update from 2 a.m. We're gonna go to noon Pacific time. So on Monday, June 1st, we have Mercury moving into Cancer. We have the moon still in Sagittarius, but it will move into Capricorn Monday night. Will be opposite everything in Cancer. So that will be interesting. Balancing our kind of inner emotional world with our external structures or vice versa. Like there could be a lot of intuitive insights and downloads we get the first week of June. Thank God the Mars Pluto square is over as well the first week of June, and the sun has moved away from Uranus by this point too. So there's a lot more clarity on like, okay, this is how we're moving forward. This is what we're doing. And this term has been coming up all year of like we've been getting just breadcrumbs of clarity, and but it's like again, trusting the process, trusting the timing of everything because it is all happening for a reason. Um, and we're getting very close to a Venus Jupiter conjunction as well, which is going to be like, a benefic conjunction is good, but it's also like, oh, shoot, like how much good is too much good, right? Is kind of what this feels like. And at the same time as Mercury moves into Cancer, it's also squaring Neptune. So that's kind of a major shift we're now stepping into with the timing of Cancer season every year. We're gonna have stuff square all that's in Neptune and Aries. We're gonna have stuff square Saturn and Aries as well as things move through Neptune or Cancer, early degree Cancer this time. So they're also at the same time that there's clarity, there's also not clarity. So I don't even know what to say about this energy. It's hard for me to read Neptune. I don't know why it's like that for me. Um, Neptune like doesn't want to be read. It's really like that person. It's like the Neptune a lot of the time reminds me of the like bad guy that no one can really read, no one really knows what's going on, and then you like look inside their life or you get a glimpse into who they are, and it's like, oh, I now I know why I couldn't understand that, or I kind of didn't want to see that. It's kind of like a mess. So I don't know what the purpose of me saying that about Neptune is, but There could just be some things about our lives we're not super clear on. And maybe that's for a reason. You know, clarity doesn't always have to, we don't need clarity about everything all at once. It's not always helpful. Um, I don't feel like I'm saying much about this next week. Maybe there's not much to say. Maybe we just have to live it and experience it. Because also we have Uranus squaring the nodes. The nodes are about to move into Aquarius and Leo. So we're really wrapping up in a major way, Pisces and Virgo energy. Um, and that energy is just is flow. Is we can't really plan. We don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow or what's going to happen next week. And this has made all year predictions really hard. Because it's like we have to live in the present moment. And um, that's especially going to be Uranus's message for us the next year as Uranus is in gate 20. I think I've talked about this in a previous weekly update that Uranus is in gate 20 in human design, the gate of the now. So it's not going to help us to look too far ahead. You know, it's going to leave us feeling muddy and confused. And yeah. What else do we have going on next week? Are we gonna have the Venus? No, we're not gonna have the Venus Jupiter conjunction yet. That'll be June 8th. No, June June 9th. We will have the Venus Jupiter conjunction at the same time that Mercury's that's like next week. So anyways, yeah, I don't know what to say about the first week of June. Um It doesn't want me to say much. So I do feel like there will be a lot of like socializing that'll be good. A lot of community oriented stuff, a lot of support coming through people in our lives, building communities in ways that we haven't yet before that is going to support us, that's going to help us move forward. And um, a lot of clarity right now might come in unconventional ways, like spending time with people we wouldn't normally or watching shows or movies we wouldn't normally. Um, so that's I guess all all that I'm gonna say about next week before we just have the next week's video. And with that, I'll leave you for the time being. So I have a video that's posting Tuesday. Look out for that. And of course, this one every Sunday. And I'll see you next time. Bye.